I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. On the right track, baby. Why'd you look at me when I was doing this? Honestly, Eduardo, what's your problem? I'm trying to feel it. I'm trying to feel the emotions of the song, and you're staring at me when I'm trying to sing. It's like you look at me with this discerning look in your face, like I would never sing that song. Like you're better than people or something. What? What? Is that what you're saying? I'll fire you, Gordo. I ain't even playing. You. Anyway, hey. Hey. Well, anyway, it's Friday. What? February the 17th. Is that what it is already? Okay. Well, this is the prediction for the February 26th fight between Miguel Acosta and Brandon Rios. And first I'll break down both the fighters, and then I will give my prediction as to who I think will win the fight. Something like that. Sometimes it winds up that I don't really predict the fight. It's just like a horrible miss, and then I got to hear from it for like a year. Anyway, first we'll start out with Miguel Acosta, who's he's 5'8", 73-inch reach, good reach, 32 years old. So, and in the lightweight division, when you start talking 32, you're right at the peak, or you're just getting ready to start going over the peak. You know what I'm saying? Because usually in the lighter weights, they tend to burn out a little faster than the guys that are heavier, because it seems like it takes them longer to mature when you're a big fat dude or something. In that case, I won't mature till I'm like 80. So. Anyway, he's 28, 3-2, with what's he got? 22 knockouts for a 67% knockout ratio. So we know he's got good power. And there was a time in there with those 3 losses. They all happened between late 2002 and 2003. So he had like a bad stretch there where he even got knocked out twice. So, you know, in there. But it's been 8 years since he's been knocked out. He's 19-0 since then. You know, he's got 14 knockouts in those 19 fights. So he's actually a 70% knockout ratio. Now, if you were to look at his opponents in his last 10 fights, only 5 have had winning records. But 3 of those 5, they were all at least 23-0 or better. Now, in that, he had the Antilion, which was a very solid, Ajeo, who was another solid fighter in there, and Paulus Moses. So these are all legit fighters that he went in and he beat, and he knocked out 2 of them. He went the distance with Adeo, who actually knocked him down twice in the 9th and the 12th round, and he knocked out Antilion in the 9th, and then Moses in the 6th. So he can bring it against elite or better fighters in his division. And as a matter of fact, Antilion is fighting for the WBC lightweight title in his next fight. So it's not like these guys that he has beaten were flashes in the pan, or maybe they had inflated records. You see what I'm going in there. In his last 10 fights, he's 10-0, 7 knockouts, 70% knockout ratio, and he was 3-0 with 2 knockouts against top competition. He's a quick starter. He's got good power. He has lots of movement, and he has an okay defense. And what I mean by the lots of movement is very rarely does he stay around for you to set up to throw your punches. As soon as you set, he's throwing a punch to throw you off, and he's getting out of there. So he rarely gets hit with flush shots. He does, but you know, every fighter gets hit with a flush shot every now and then. He works very well against the ropes, and when he is up against the ropes, he is not leaning forward, losing distance. He does more what a Muhammad Ali would do, and Roy Jones and those guys, and they would come off the ropes and make you miss, and then come in and make you pay after you've overextended yourself trying to hit them. I mean, because they're forward, then they use it. They don't go back. This is not Anthony Peterson. Please do not compare the 2 fighters. He fires out jabs. They're constant. He's throwing multiple combos. I mean, that jab is like a piston. He really works it. And a jab is great to keep a fighter from being able to set up and to get his punches off in the throw. He has counters. He has very good combos, and he does slip out. As soon as he pop, he slides out, and he's out of there. He does what Peterson's trainer wanted Peterson to do. Peterson refused to do it. You feeling me? Um, he has good hooks, and he has really good uppercuts, and they're very well timed. So as you start to come in, he fires those uppercuts in there, and they land very cleanly, and they do a lot of damage. As I said, he keeps his distance. He takes advantage of what you're willing to give him. If your hands are high, he's throwing low. You drop your hands, he throws high. He pot shots, he doesn't rush in, and he doesn't push the issue. He doesn't look like he will be drawn into a slugfest. He will stay back, he will fight his fight. If he loses by doing that, he loses by doing that. He is not going to go in there and just flat out slug with somebody. He's constantly throwing. As I said, as soon as his opponents look like they're getting ready to throw or set up, he throws a punch to throw them off. And the one thing about it is his stamina could be an issue in that. And because he's only went 12 rounds once, but he was knocked down in the 9th and the 12th round in that fight. So that tends to be a problem there. But, he still made it, so his chin's got to be worthwhile, and he's got to have heart because he got knocked down, he got up, and still won. And remember, this is not Peterson, okay? Forget about that. Their heights are the same, their reach is about the same. Two totally different fighters, okay? Going over to Brandon Rios, who's 26-0 with 1 draw, and he's got 19 knockouts for about a 70% knockout ratio. Looking at that, he's got one big name on his record, and that was Anthony Peterson, who he won by a disqualification in the 7th. You could say he had another one over Jorge Teran, but Teran's really not very, like upper class fighter. He knocked him out in the 3rd. 8 of his last 10 fighters had winning records. He's 9-0-1 in those last 10 fights. 8 knockouts, and then the Peterson fight, so you might as well say 9 knockouts. So he's really stepped up his game. The fighters necessarily aren't that great that he's knocking out, but he is still doing it, so that says something. What is it said? He's just knocking him out? Is that what you're saying, Eduardo? I told you, you're fired. Fired! Anyway, this guy is big. He's powerful. When he comes into the ring, he's coming in at 150 pounds. Plus, for a 135-pound fight, gaining 16 pounds, that's massive. Everything he throws is with power. If it's the jab, if it's the hook, if it's the right hand, it's all power. He carries a high D. And with that, he just stalks you down. The hands stay high. He walks through, waits, sees his shots as you're opening up, because whenever you throw a punch, you're open for a shot. And he sits there, he waits, he sets up, and then he throws his shots. The worst thing someone could ever do with this man is stand in front of him, because he's kind of like a tank for this size. He's coming forward, he's got a solid chin, and it looks like he will win the war of attrition on you. The boy's got heart. He was a USA in 2004. He was a featherweight champ. He's got extensive boxing experience, but he's a Mack truck in there, man. He's coming forward, and he's throwing bombs. He likes to work inside. He likes to bang. He likes to get in there and get busy and do work. He will struggle. I think he will struggle with elite boxers. If they keep their distance and they fight the fight and stay away from him, it's going to be hard for him to close that gap. Now, in saying that, when he's never went 12 rounds, he has never went 12 rounds ever. So you might want to question his stamina. Now, what I mean by that, when I'm saying that, is when he's fighting a fighter that isn't going to stand in front of him, that is going to move, it takes more out of you when you throw your punches. If you miss a punch, it takes almost like double the energy than if you actually land a punch. And it can tire you out. So you have to wonder if Rios might get a bit frustrated if he's going in against a fighter that is not going to stand there and bang with him. Because he's trying to knock him out. Will he lose his temper? Will he lose his will he go back to being a wild man? Will that happen? Will that hurt him in this fight? He's open when he throws that hook. He can be tagged. Peterson hit him numerous times when he would throw the hook. And so when you put both these fighters together and look at them, and look at their strengths and look at their weaknesses and stuff, the one thing I see in that is that I like is that Acosta is not going to stand there and just let Rios pound on him. And I have Acosta winning this fight via unanimous decision. I think he keeps the distance. I think he stays away. He fights his own fight. And I think that's going to confuse, or maybe not so much confuse, as throw Rios out of his game plan and make him get a little bit wider or wilder. So when that happens, I think he's going to be able to counter Rios and might even hurt him a couple times in this fight, because Acosta is really good at the counters and those uppercuts that come in when you're trying to apply pressure. So I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's one that you wouldn't miss. If there was going to be a knockout, it would be Rios scoring a knockout late in the fight, even though he tends to start early too. I mean, both these fighters are pretty much right out the gate doing their business. So I think it'll be Acosta winning a unanimous decision. It goes 12 rounds, but who knows how that goes. All right? I would give odds on this fight, but I didn't look it up, and I apologize. But, hey. Well, hey, this is Bigragu. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and looking forward to hearing from you guys. All right? I'm out.